Hello, everybody. Very happy to have you watching with us today. I'm interviewing Trinh Chau. Trinh, it's been wonderful watching your YouTube channel and getting to connect with you through your social media online. Thank you for making the time to be with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It is my pleasure to be here and get to know you and also get to know everyone, the audience.
Thank you so much. So can you please let us know where you're from and where you're currently living?
I am originally from Vietnam, but now I am Singaporean, living in Singapore for the past 17 years. Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's a long time. What inspired you to move to Singapore at a younger age?
It was my dream to study overseas, and Singapore was a perfect country for me because very close to Vietnam. It's only 1.5 hour travel, so it's allowed me to visit my families more often. And so also Singapore is very safe. Infrastructure is great. So it put my mom at peace, when she have me staying alone overseas. And when I move here or when I study here, I love the country, right? Like I say, it's really safe. It's very convenient for me, and there are great supportivity. So that's why I decided to build my ground here. So I started everything here. And then fast forward, it has been 17 years. Yeah.
That's great. I visited Singapore in the past, and it's a beautiful place, and I know very safe, as you mentioned. I've always really wanted to visit Vietnam as well. It seems like there's a lot of expats living there as well.
Yes.
That really love the country.
Vietnam is beautiful. I mean, one of my goal or bucket list is to be able to travel Vietnam alongside like different city, different province, because there are a lot of really beautiful places that hardly anyone would know, and it is basically underrated. I feel that the tourism in Vietnam is underrated. Yes, so one of my bucket lists is to be able to travel around Vietnam as well.
I understand. I hope to do that one day as well. I hear the food is great there, and the coffee. I really love coffee. I hear the coffie is amazing.
The coffee is amazing. I cannot have any other coffee beside Vietnam because I always think this is the best. Yeah.
I'm sure it is. One of these days, I'm going to be excited to try that out. Yeah. So tell me about your entrepreneurial journey. When did you first decide, maybe I want to start a business?
So I have been in hospitality industry for 16 years. It was a really great journey because I have learned so much from this journey. I was born an introvert. So for me to be able to, socialize and talk to people, it was really hard. And my journey in hospitality kind of trained me in, different skill sets. And I have grown so much. I have grown so much in this journey that allow me to have different perspective in life. And end of last year, I decided to quit my job to start up something, right? And this idea of running my own coaching business has been with me for 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. But I got more serious maybe 2 years, within these 2 years. And I went through a traumatic events 2 years ago, and that kind of like pushed me to just make this happen because, when you have a dream, right? And if you don't chase it now, if you don't make it happen, it will forever just be a dream for you, right? So I realized that I can take actions to turn it into reality. So why not? So that kind of inspired me to just quit my job completely, even though it was a very comfortable job for me. And I just started up everything new beginning of this year. So it has been 9 months, 10 months. I would say that for the past 10 months, I have grown into a different horizon, right? It's really a great learning journey for me because I have learned so many things that I have not taught before. Yes, so I would say that starting this entrepreneurship is a great learning lesson for me, and I still continue learning as I grow. Yeah.
Sure. So would you say that your experience in the hospitality industry and the traumatic time in your life is what gave you that final push to become an entrepreneur? Or do you think that eventually you would have decided to start a business regardless?
I would say that I didn't have that thoughts before because my career was going well in hospitality. I specialize in hotel opening, so I open a lot of hotel, and I would say that skill set kind of helped me in this entrepreneurship. And the traumatic event as well is give me really different perspective of life. So climbing up the corporate ladder wasn't what I wanted anymore. Yeah. So I used to have ambitions to be, CEO one day in the corporate world, right? But the event, whatever happened in the past 2 years, kind of gave me different perspective. I no longer see or feeling fulfilled whenever I climb a corporate ladder. And I think that life has a lot more to offer. And I also want to live a life where I feel more meaningful than just, money, status, and fame, and, all these things, right? And that kind of gave me the idea, like, I should build something that be able to help other people as well. Yeah,
I
and
understand.
that kind of drive me in my business and how I can make my business work, because the purpose of my business is not just to make money, right? It is actually to do or to have a bigger purpose, is to help people and how to reach out. So the main core of my business is I'm actually want to make mental health more available, accessible to everyone, and I want to normalize mental health talks, for everyone, because there is still stigma in the society when you talk, hey, I have a problem with my mental health. So I want people to just remove that and just share and improve our mental health in a way that we can glow together and we can grow together.
I understand. What inspired you to want to go from hospitality? And actually, if I could just share with those watching online, one of the articles that I saw about you in hospitality had to say this. It said she had made her mark in hospitality as an award-winning hotel manager. She had successfully opened 6 hotels and was involved in a total of 9 pre-opening projects in a span of 12 years. It's very ambitious. She was awarded as one of the 10 most successful hotel managers under 40 by Singapore Business Review at the age of 29. So that's just incredible reading that about you, especially at such a young age, to have accomplished so much. Definitely very far from the mental health industry.
Yeah.
Was it the traumatic event in your life? And I'm not sure if you're comfortable sharing about that, but was that part of what encouraged you to pivot to such a different field?
You're right. I mean, like moving to mental health is something that very interesting for me, because I have a lot of life experience, regarding mental health. So 2 years ago, the traumatic event I mentioned to you is actually my mom passed away. Right, it's a passing
So
of my
sorry
mom.
to hear that.
Yes. So she has been very close to me, right? And we, as after she passed away, I realized that there are a lot of issues we have in the relationship, and there's certain way that I react in certain way or she reacted in certain way. It because a result of our mental health, right? Our mental
Sure.
well-being. And I felt that there are a lot of ways for us to could have avoided it, right? So if you ask me, I mean, after she passed away, I felt guilty. I think that most of us only have that feeling, the guilty feel, right? Feeling that when we lose someone, and this guilt kind of make me reflect a lot, right? And, and when I come to term I come to term and accept the reality that she had gone. I actually use this to motivate me to help others avoid the mistakes that we make, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and I also want to continue to make my mom proud in whatever that I'm doing, because I mean, she was a kind person. She's really nice. She liked to help people.
Hmm.
Yeah, so she's positive as well, and I want to kind of carry her legacy, go move on with carry out her legacy. And that's the reason why I felt that mental health is something that everyone is not talking about, or they actually they underestimate the mental health stage. Like, I give you an example. For example, if someone is really going through extreme stress, right? But because they don't want to be, I mean, they don't want people to judge them, so they don't want to share with anyone and continue going on, at that stage. But they don't realize that the longer you hold on to something that toxic for you, it will cause a lot of more long-term damage.
Right.
So yeah, so I used to be cranky when I was stressed, and because
Sure.
I cranky, I will actually impact the people around me, you
Hmm.
know, and that is actually very common for people who work under stress, right? So I have a
Sure.
lot of people that I met, when I talk to them, and when I help them, they always tell me that, why I always have this excessive anger towards my loved ones, right?
Sure.
And they didn't know why. So because of that, and they didn't know that because of their mental health or whatever they experience at work, make them become the person they don't even realize themselves.
Sure. Sure.
So I
So, do you
want.
have any? Sorry to interrupt, Trent, but do you have any sense why so often it seems that we maybe lash out or take out our frustrations or angers, especially on those that we love the most and that we're closest to? Any insight on why that might be the case?
Because you see, to stranger or to people we're not familiar with, we tend to behave better, right? Because we want to still maintain that relationship. I would
Sure.
say that the people closest to us are the one who often taken advantage, taken for granted,
Hmm.
because usually we take the people closest to us for granted and think that they're always there. They're always there, no matter
Sure.
how ugly we are, like how angry we are or whatever gonna happen, they will still be there. And
Sure.
that thought kind of just give us the green light to just be like that, to just be
Sure.
angry or just snap at them for no reason.
Right, right, absolutely. So, can you step back and tell us a little bit more? What businesses do you own? My understanding is you have more than one currently.
Yes, so I have two companies. One is I'm actually doing hospitality consultancy, where I curate a service DNA for them. So basically, I work with company to elevate their service level, or
Mhm.
I work with company that want to start up something in hospitality or in a business that they want to curate. I call it branded service DNA because it will tap into the brand. So I will understand the company culture, the company vision and mission, and work with them to curate a service experience for the guest.
Mhm.
From it's a guest journey, right? So from the guest before the guest arrive until the guest depart. So what are the experience that they're gonna have? And I will also offer them training and coaching for the team members.
Mhm.
So it's a whole journey with this service DNA. I will come in and curate the service DNA. I will do coaching and training for them, and I also will offer them the audit system, where I curate an audit system that aligns with the service DNA, so that they can maintain their standard. So
Sure, sure.
that is one. That is Trinity Consultancy.
Mhm.
And I recently, in July, I opened another company called Glow Space. So Glow Space dedicated for mostly women and people with mental health issues. So I also have, I'm actually launching a journals. So in this Glow Space, I will have mental health services and products. So one of the products is actually a journals, which I'm going to launch in November.
Great, great.
And besides that, because I understand that, when you go through, I mean, based on my experience, I feel that we could have create a work lifestyle that balance our mental health, and at the same time we can have a rewarding or glowing business, right?
Mhm.
So under Glow Space, I also have a training program, which I will launch by end of this year, that will help people learn how to turn their ideas or their passion into a business idea and how they can launch it successfully. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do business mentoring, and I also share with them the resources, everything. I will also help them do branding as
That's
well.
great. That's great. So do you have a particular type of client that you reach out to or that seems attracted to you? Is it only working with clients in Singapore or also other countries?
So my business goal is to be able to work anywhere and anytime. I think that I want to, I want to walk my talk, right? Where I want to help people do the same thing. So because I want to travel different places, and I don't want to get stuck in one place, right? So that one
Yes.
of the reasons why I started my business, because I want to build that business that lasts. So I actually accept clients in all over the world. Yeah, and my message is simple. If you want to build a lifestyle that you will live more and enjoy more with your families and loved ones, then this is for you, right? And if you want to
Sure.
elevate mental health, mental well-being as well, and this is for you. So even my journal is not going to be just Singapore, but it's going to be all over the world.
Great, great. So what does a typical day look like for you as an entrepreneur?
So I wake up early. I mean, 6 a.m. I wake up every day. So regardless whether it's weekday or weekends, I will just make sure I wake up 6 a.m. I don't like to rush. So in the morning, I will have morning routine. I'll make my coffee. I will read some books. I'll start my day slower, and I will have set intention, which is set goals of the day. So I have a list of things that I want to do. That I want to complete within a day, and then that's where I started. So I realized when I set intentions and what I want to accomplish in a day, it gives me more guides. It have more like I am guided to actually finish all these goals, right? Yeah, and I feel that I am more productive when I do that.
Sure. How do you decide what to do and what not to do in a particular day?
Yeah, so of course, you're right. There are a lot of things to do, right? And one thing that will help me is what is more urgent for me. I mean, there are a lot of things that are important, right? But I will have to say, okay, which is more urgent. So I can give you an example. Like, for example, when I launch, when I do launching of journal, so there are a few things that I need to do, like printing and all this, right? So, but the important thing for me is I have to file also the trademark first. So this is something that I decide, okay, I have to do it today, right? And then the preview of my printing or my copies, right? That is also important. So that is the next one I want to do, right? Yeah, and then the rest of the email I can check it later and things like that. So I actually have to categorize it into like whether it's the most urgent, important, and I'm sure like a lot of us know this formula, but to sit down and write it down, I think that will help us to see or put in more perspective, like whether it's really urgent and important.
Sure, absolutely. Let me ask Trinh, what inspires you?
For
With anything, what inspires you in life? Is it more business or relationships?
I would say what inspires me in life is my ability to help others. I feel that even when I was in hospitality, what motivated me wasn't really just promotions and pay and things like that. I always felt fulfilled when I feel that I changed someone's life, right? Or I have helped someone grow in their journey, like either it's their work or their personal life. So I feel that my ability to influence someone and impact on their life in a positive way, that's what inspires me, and that's what keeps me going. Yeah.
Sure. So it seems like that's maybe the common thread, even though the hospitality industry and some of what you're doing now is quite different. It seems like the common thread for you is that inspiration of helping other people.
Yes, you're right. And I mean, even in hospitality, we do a lot with people. So basically, everything has to do with people, right? Yeah. So that is something in common that I always feel very consistent is my what can I do or how can I help others in a positive way, right? Whether I impact their life or change their life or touch their life in some way. That is my purpose in life.
Sure, sure. And some of what I read about you online, it seems that at least at some stage of your life, you were a workaholic. Would you still describe yourself as a workaholic today?
I still am if I am engrossed or something, but the difference is that now I have I have developed a self awareness, quite highest level of self awareness. So I've known when I need to stop, right? So I always put the stop like if I feel that I'm engrossed to something, into something for a long period of time, I will kind of like set the time for me to have a break.
Okay.
So yeah, so that is one. Another one is like I will also understand how I feel, and I manage it in a different way.
Okay. So do you find that if you're not working or if you're realizing you're too engrossed in something for too long, do you find time to relax or do you try to get out of the office? What do you do to recharge?
So I mean, for me, my working time is flexible because that is my goal. I just want to be flexible. So sometimes I can go on a hike on a weekday because it's not so many
Sure.
people. So some hiking is one of the thing that I do to relax because when you have a walk in nature or anything to do with nature, right? Breathe in fresh air. This will actually help you reduce stress hormone and improve your mental health well-being. So walking in nature is something that I always do. Another one is for me is that to do reading. Some motivational books or self-help books or something that will lift up my mood. That's the reason why I start my day by doing reading because I feel that that's when I have the most like my mental stage is actually still very fresh and I consume the good thing. Like I'm reading all this book. It will also help me feel that I learned something new, and because I learned something new, it generates more positive emotions.
Sure, sure. Would you have one or two books that have really inspired you or helped you that you might recommend to others?
If you talk about mental health, there are two books that I really love, and these two books also written by monks. So there's two
Mhm.
monks, right? The first book is The Art of Living by
Mhm.
Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a monk that he's a very famous monk in Vietnam. Yeah,
Mhm.
but he actually opened a plum village in France. I'm not sure whether you heard of it, but his book is really amazing because it's really just give you a lot of life lesson and you do a lot of reflections. So that
Mhm.
book helped me cope with my mom passing. Yeah, and
Okay.
another book that really lifts up your mood and makes you feel very happy and light is, I think, things you can only see when you slow down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very good. If I could get the authors' names and titles, I'll make sure and leave
I'll
a
share
link
with
to
you.
those in the description below. I'm sure others would really enjoy reading those as well. So, what does self development look like for you? Is it overwhelmingly focused on books, or do you listen to podcasts?
For me, I would say my self development. I'll give a lot of credits to my reflection. So in
Mhm.
everything that I experience in life, whether it's my life or somebody else's life, something that I always reflect, like what can I learn from this situation? I think that had bring me a lot of more wisdom and life lessons from there. I read books as well. I don't usually listen to podcasts.
Mhm.
I do sometimes, but it's not the main things that I actually learn from. Yeah, and also I watch video. So I mean, video is something that is because I'm a visual person. So I have to see something, yeah, to be able to learn.
Sure, I understand. What would you say is one of your biggest challenges as an entrepreneur at this stage in your life?
I would say that because when you start up something, you only have a lot of ideas, right? So when you start something, and then it will link to another idea and link to another idea, so it's really can be overwhelming, and you don't know how to manage. So like for me at the earlier stage, like that. I have a lot of ideas, but I've learned how to just prioritize it. So I have things on a pipeline. So like I share with you, I actually have now I have a flow journal, and I also have a flow space where I mentor people on business. So these are in the pipeline, right? So I learned how to just focus on one first, and then put the other one in maybe the next few months and things like that. Yeah. So that is a challenge that I have, is how to prioritize my idea.
I
Yeah.
understand. I understand. What about the flip side of that? What would you say that is your one superpower or something that you feel that especially helps you with what you do in business?
I would say that I am very driven, right?
Mhm.
Because when I start something, I have to finish.
Okay.
That like when I did opening for hotel as well, right? So doing opening for hotel is really really tiring, because there are a lot of work. Can you imagine, like the whole hotel, you have to start everything from scratch.
Mm.
So what drives me when I feel like overwhelmed, or when I feel down and things like that, is I told myself that I have to finish what I started. So I think that the follow through is something that um, I always have that in mind. So when I start an idea, I want to follow through and finish it. Yeah. So that's what keep me going, and that kind of push me to just follow through and accomplish what I started.
That's very helpful. What would you say for the rest of us, myself included, that may struggle with that is well? I know with myself, I have 100 ideas a day. Most of them are decent ideas,
Yep.
but I'm very slow to start down the road of any of those ideas because I know that following through with those ideas is one of my challenges in business. What would you say, to people like me that don't have that superpower of, the ability to really not just start something but complete it as well? How can people maybe grow in that area?
I would say that having a lot of ideas. I mean, I have a lot of ideas, and also there are ideas that I kind of dropped it. So what
Mhm.
important for you is write out all those ideas, and you think that what you want to focus on first. Because when we have so many things on hand or in our mind,
Mhm.
we kind of get so overwhelmed, right? So when we feel overwhelmed, we don't feel like starting anything. That's happened to us. Like when I start a project and I feel that wow, I have to do so many things, it's kind of discourage me just to stop, right?
Sure.
So what is helpful is determine what do you want to pursue, right? And then you focus on that one single idea.
Mhm.
And from that one single idea, you break into small steps, right? Okay, what I need to do next. So what is helpful for me is let's say when I start, okay, my first stage, what do I need to complete, right? So once I complete it, I feel more accomplished, and it's kind of
Mhm.
give me more motivations to go on,
Okay.
right? So yeah,
So
so break it
it's
into
very
a small
self-rewarding.
stages. Yeah, that's
Very
right.
good. I appreciate that. So tell me more practically. I have to say that meeting you online and seeing your YouTube and your Facebook and where you're sharing, I would have thought that you were already in business for at least 10 years. So it
Oh,
seems like
thank
you've
you.
you've really done an incredible job of branding yourself very professionally, which I know you help clients with as well, and promoting yourself in a very helpful way. What does marketing look like for you in your business?
One thing I strongly believe in is branding, right? So
Hmm.
to me, branding will make your business stand out from others, right? The way and like you say, marketing. So marketing is a big spectrum. It's include branding, how you reach out to people and things like that. So branding start first. You cannot start a business without a proper branding, and that's why I say
Right.
branding is so important, because it will be a guideline for you to run your business, the way you communicate with your clients. So first, you need to have branding, And then secondly, you need to be the one who represents your brand. It means whatever you communicate on social media or anywhere, the way you talk to people, that's how you actually promote your brand with you.
Mhm.
So like I use a lot of glow everywhere. I use everywhere on my social media, on my YouTube, on my website, when I talk to people. So when I use that language, people it intrigue people like okay, what is glow? Right, things like
Sure.
that. So that is how marketing to me, where you need to create curiosity. What is it about? And because
Mhm.
there's curiosity, they will actually want to find out more about your products and services.
Sure, sure. So it seems like your branding is a little more feminine. Is
Yes.
that a reflection of yourself, or excuse me, or is so sorry, or is that more your desire to especially work with women, or do you find that both women and men seek to reach out to you?
I would say that the branding represent me a lot. I love flower, I love feminineness, I love beautiful stuff. So that's why the branding is like that. At the same time, because I also more inclined with to attract women.
Sure.
Yeah, and the thing is, why I want to work with women in terms of this, because I understand the struggle and things, because I am myself, right? So I understand what they need to go through, and what are their challenges and things like that. Yeah, but I'm open to men or women. Whenever someone need help and I think that I can help that person, I will actually willing to do that as well. Yeah.
That's great. So, are you someone that plans for the future with your business, or you focus more year to year? For example, do you have a vision for what your business might look like 5 years from now? What does that look like for you?
I do have a vision for the company, but at this moment, I think what is helpful is I focus on the year to year now. So I have a year to year plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially when you say start up business, right? I think that focusing on building the right foundations is more important than growing, right?
Sure, sure.
Right. Yeah. So I do have a vision what I want a company to look like in 5 years, but that will be the guide for me to just move my business towards that direction. But as of now, I'm focusing how to build a great foundations for my company, and how can
Mhm.
I have more awareness of the company.
I understand completely. What would you say is the accomplishment that you're most proud of?
My accomplishments that I'm most proud of, I would say that firstly is my whatever that I'm gonna launch soon. I think that is really my accomplishment in terms of my business. But my accomplishment during my entrepreneurship journey is myself. How I have seen myself grown for the past 10 months has been amazing. Like I think it can beat any years of my working, because now I am on different path where I have learned different things, and my mindset. I think mindset is something that it has changed so much from an employee mindset to entrepreneurial mindset. Yeah, that is a challenge for me at the beginning as well, because how can I switch that, right? Yeah, so
Sure.
when I was able to switch that, that is my accomplishment, as whatever that I'm doing now. That's been my biggest accomplishment for this year.
I understand. So do you feel, looking back now, that everything that you were doing in the past really was already training you in advance for this time? Yeah,
You
because
you
it
are
seems,
absolutely right.
yeah.
So even the advantages for me to do hotel opening is that it's like I start my business. So when I start my business, I kind of like know, okay, I need branding, I need marketing plan, and I need to have a plan of structure, how I'm gonna do things, what is SOP and things like that. So because I have done that in the past, when I start my business, it's kind of like this skill set has helped me to start it easier, right?
I,
Yeah, I really need to learn different new things that for example, like digital marketing, Facebook ads and things like that. So these are the things that I have to learn additional. But otherwise, I would have, I would say that whatever I have learned in hospitality has helped me so much in my business journey.
I understand. It seems that you must have already needed so many systems and processes and attention to detail and follow through for, I can't imagine how much work in a hotel opening. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that served you very well now, and is probably why I had the perception that you've been established for so many more years than you actually have. So congratulations on that. It's very unusual for an entrepreneur to really get off to such a great and successful start like you have as well. Let me ask you, in terms of branding, sometimes people are focused on the logos and the look and the feel and other elements of branding. Sometimes people are, probably most people, I think it's fair to say, would be a lot more slow to actually, from right at the beginning, to put their face and who they are in front as the brand. What was that like for you, starting a YouTube channel and doing so many different things to brand yourself? And is that something that you would recommend to other entrepreneurs as well?
I would say it depends on what you want. So you are right. It's not easy to just put your face out there, and especially from an introvert person, right? So like me as well. At the beginning, it took me a year plus to start my YouTube channel. The reason is because like that, I don't know whether how it's gonna be. I just think that I don't know what's gonna be, and I always felt that I'm very awkward in front of camera, and it's just not gonna make it, right. So that's the reason why it delayed me for a year. But then when I started this business journey, I understand that because I represent my brand, right? People need to know me, and they have to see me in order for them to trust whatever I'm doing. It's all about trust in business, right? So I put all the judgment, the fear of judgment, everything. I just put aside, and I just say, okay, I'm just gonna do it. And I realized that one thing, when you want to, basically, when you want to do something, the most important step is to just get started, right? And the moment after you get started, after I posted my first video, nothing else matter, right? I just continue posting and posting. I don't have that judgment anymore, like that fear of judgment anymore. Like, okay, people are not gonna like it and things like that. So you just, whenever you want to do something, you just start. Just no, you are not. I would say that people don't talk about you as much as you think they do.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So just,
Yes, and I think also people aren't probably as critical as we think they are as well. I have some friends here in the Philippines that have a very simple cell phone that they use, that they've grown 80,000 subscribers on YouTube in the first year. Really amazing accomplishment just with a simple cell phone. And I think that people really look at the authenticity of the person, and I think some content on YouTube people gravitate more than others, but I think that people really are not as critical as we think that they might be as well.
Yeah.
I had a very similar experience where I not spend much time in front of the camera, and I remember my very first YouTube video that I recorded for my other channel, that my cameraman just pointed the camera at my face. I really only had a very kind of rough outline of what I wanted to say, but it felt natural. And after that, it's been a really fun journey. I never in a million years would have thought that I would have used YouTube as a form of branding either, but I've met so many wonderful people. It's been a great way to connect with clients. And so like you, I think I would encourage people to just give it a shot, and you'll find it's not as difficult as it seems at the outset.
Yeah, that's right. And when you put yourself out there, and you see, like, I think that everyone has their own uniqueness and talents, right? And if you don't want to show to others, nobody gonna know how great you are, right? So just do it. Whatever the result is, you know that you have tried, and you know this is what it's gonna be. So you can actually choose to go on, and you can choose not to go on. I mean, it's your choice, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really believe in that old marketing adage that people do business with those that they know and like and trust. And I think in, the times that we live in, YouTube or video or podcasts is, some great ways for people to get to know and like and trust, a business or a business owner out there. So let me ask you, what does success look like for you personally?
Success look like to me is when I have the freedom of choice. Yes.
I
So
understand that. Can you share a little more about that?
if I have the freedom to choose what to do with, what to do what I love, if I
Mm,
have freedom to choose when I spend my time to work, and
mhm.
I have freedom to choose to go to different places, and I have to have freedom to give my time to help others, because when you don't have a freedom, and you, for example, when you don't have freedom and you have to work, and you know that you have to chase after certain KPIs, and you have to
Mhm.
chase after certain goals and things like that, you kind of use your time and you feel stuck, right? You just feel stuck that you have to do this first before you can do anything else. But
Sure.
whatever you're living is, I mean, the moment is now, right? It's not going to be tomorrow or anything. So you never know what's going to happen. And if I have a freedom to choose what I can do today, that is success to me, right? Without
I
worry of money, without worry of, my time and what I need to chase and things like that. So to me, that is success.
I really appreciate that. Do you think there's a clearly defined path to becoming an entrepreneur?
I would say that first you need to identify what is the purpose of you starting a business, because this purpose will drive you in your business, and it's not about money, or it's not about, you just want to do because you want to look good in others, right? I think it doesn't work like that. You
Mm,
just have to understand why you want to start a business. So like for me, my purpose is starting a business is because I really want to be able to uh, work at my own time. Like I have a flexible working time. I can work anywhere, and I want to help others. I want to reach out to more people, and not
sure.
just a small number of people that I work with. Yeah.
I understand. Let me ask you a final question. If you can say anything to people that are listening and maybe they have always wanted to start a new business, but have been slow to do that, what might you say to them?
Just start.
Just start.
Just
That's
start.
that's
But
that's great advice.
okay, so the thing is, I believe that all of us have ideas in our life, right? Everyone, whether you want to start business or you don't want, it's just that you have awesome ideas. But the thing is, your awesome idea will just be always be an idea if you're not going to put it into action, right? So when you have an awesome idea, just start it. Whatever the result is, that you don't have regret of not starting and somebody else started and they make it successful,
Sure.
right? Yeah. So if you have an idea that you want to start a business, just take action and just move forward.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching that want to watch your social, connect with you online, and others that want to get in touch for business. What's the best way for people to connect with you online?
So I have my website where they can just leave a message, or I also
Okay,
have my Instagram, Facebook page, and the YouTube. So I am available on all platforms. So if you want to get in touch with me, they can actually go to this platform to get in touch with me.
great. We'll make sure and leave the links
Yeah,
to those
I'll leave
in
the
the
link
description
below.
below.
Yes.
Great, great. Well, Trin, I've really enjoyed watching your content online, and I've learned so much from you, and especially your YouTube. Always such wonderful content. It's been wonderful to be able to spend some more time hearing more of your journey and learning more from you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be interviewed and sharing more about your journey with all of those watching.
No, thank you so much for having me here. It's lovely to have a chat with you, and the important thing of talking with people is the more you talk to others, you kind of learn more about yourself as well. So yeah, thank you for all your wonderful questions, and I hope that the audience will be able to learn something new today. And yeah,
Sure.
I look forward to seeing more of your videos and more of your awesome interview.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Remember that time we were sitting on one. I can see it in your eyes, you were feeling alive. Why I tell you I was